A very warm welcome to the 21st episode of the podcast of the World Wind Energy Association, the World of Wind Power. This is the first podcast of the year 2026, and it's my great pleasure to have Mr. Qin Haiyan as our guest, who is Secretary General of the Chinese Wind Energy Association, representing the by far now largest wind power market around the world, China. And he's also a board member, a vice president of the World Wind Energy Association. And just a month ago, we had a very successful conference, our 22nd World Wind Energy Conference, held in the southern China city of Shantou. And we will talk about this and where China stands nowadays. So it's my great pleasure, Haiyan, to have this podcast with you. I know you very well, but not everybody who listens. Could you please introduce yourself? I know you've been now decades of history and experience in this. Could you introduce yourself and also the Chinese Wind Energy Association?
Okay, thank you, Stefan. As you mentioned, we are long term. We meet, know each other. It's about 20 years already.
Yeah, that's true. I remember
more than
2004. You came to the first World Wind Conference.
Yeah,
I remember
yeah.
that meeting when we met, maybe even the year before.
Yeah. So it's the first conference, WWEA in Bonn.
In Berlin.
That's year. Yeah. It's the WWEA founded in 2004 also.
That was just a bit earlier, 2001, actually in Copenhagen in Denmark. And the Chinese Wind Energy, we approached quite after the foundation of that meeting to approached and invited Professor Hedi Sin. Sorry, my pronunciation is so bad. Who was the chairman of your association at that time, and then became later our president.
Yeah. So let come back to your question. As you mentioned, I'm a Secretary General of the Chinese Wind Energy Association, and I'm also honored to be the Vice President of the WWEA. I have worked in wind energy for over 30 years. Yeah, I started maybe last century. My work is on policy study, industry planning, standard testing, and certification. I have another title is the General Director of China General Certificate Center. We certificate for wind turbine, solar, and hydro, some other renewable energy product. I have led and joined many international projects in this area, and I was deeply involved in writing and updating China renewable energy law. And I work with some government for how to promotion the renewable energy in China. For example, I have involved in renewable energy plans for the 13th and 14th 5-year plans of China. Every 5 years, Chinese government will make a next 5 years plan. It includes economic everything, also about energy and renewable energy also. Chinese Wind Energy Association was set up in 1981. It's long ago. It's a key platform. Now it's a key platform for wind energy in China. It brings together government, industry, university, and research organization. CWA works as a think tank for government bodies like the NDRC and NEA. We have over 800 members. It's organization members, include wind developers, turbine manufacturers, and some components manufacturers also, such like gearbox, blade, generator, and the universities and so on. So in China, which organization want to do something in wind energy will become our member. Our association main work is doing industry research, giving policy advice, and supporting government projects. We also publish reports and a magazine. The name is Wind Energy magazine. Our China Wind Power Industry Map. It's an annual report now become an important data source for understanding China's wind market. We also held important events. I think you know, every year we will organize the CWP in Beijing. Now it becomes the largest wind industry exhibition in the world. And also we're helping connecting the industry, share knowledge, and train talent for the industry. We also want to become the windows between the international and the domestic. So it's a summary about my experience and our association. Thank you.
That's an impressive actual history. So with 45 years now, you're probably one of the oldest wind energy associations worldwide as well. So that is something we should also maybe find out whether there is an older one. But many of the associations were, of course, founded a bit earlier than that. It means also you're 20 years ahead of the World Wind Energy Association. Now, we are 25 years this year now. Now, when you look back into this history, of course, I understand you haven't been there from the beginning, but from the 90s on. So you personally have experienced a long part of these 45 years. I started my first visit to China was 2004, actually. Already in that period, impressive growth has been achieved. Now, at that time, it was a couple of 100 megawatt, and now it's hundreds of thousands of megawatt of installed capacity. What would you describe were the first milestones of the important milestones of the Chinese wind sector to develop to become the strongest wind industry worldwide?
Okay, I can do some important events and some milestones. In the past decades, China wind power has reached many key milestones, as you mentioned. The industry grew from nothing to strong, from learning to leading. We can start from the 1990s. You know, in China, there's a very famous scientist. His name is Qian Haiyan. You know the name?
Sure, but I'm sure you will explain.
His main work is missile. You know missile bomb.
Okay.
And he come from American. He come back to China to lead the how to say that? Missile and the nuclear bomb. Yeah, he's the main scientist, and he care about a lot of things in China. He wanted the China science technology go fast. It's just the People's Republic of China just founded in that area. And in 1990s, he wrote a letter to Mr. He Dexin. You know,
Yes, I know him personally very well. We work
the president of Chinese Wind Energy Association. He founded the CWA. In his letter, Mr. Qian Haiyan suggests in China, in the future, should install 4,500,000 kilowatt wind turbines. 4 million size of 500 kilowatt wind turbines. It's amazing at that time. You know, at that time in China, the wind farm, no wind farm in China at that time. Only two 50 kilowatt machine connected to the grid. The turbine comes from Denmark, from Vestas. Only 55 kilowatt machine, very small machine.
Quite small.
Yeah. At that time, he said we should install 500 kilowatt machine and 4 million sites.
Wow! So it was a
visionary. And he said in the future, the China grid and the China power should come from wind. Wind is the important generator in the future. we cannot use the power plant. We only use wind can support the Chinese economic. This is his plan.
So that would translate into 2 million megawatt, right? 4 million?
Yeah.
This
Power
is amazing.
Yeah. No, it's our carbon neutrality and target is 2030. Our target is 300 gigawatt.
So
at that time, his target is 200 gigawatt.
A terawatt, I believe, not 2 terawatt.
Yeah.
3 is now the target. So he was very close to this.
Yeah. So in 1990s, so it's so it's so important. Yeah, it's a big scientist. He can look a long time. He can look along. Yeah, in the future. So he writes the letter to Mr. He Dexin, asked Mr. He Dexin should study the wind energy, should study how to design the wind turbine, how to produce the 500 kilowatt machines. At that time, 500 kilowatt machine is impossible. It's difficult for Chinese wind energy people. We cannot produce the 100 kilowatt wind turbines at that time. So it's amazing. This is, I think this is very important milestone. With his Mr. Chen Juezen's target, with his arrangement, so the Chinese people, some like Mr. He Dexin, his scientists also start to learn, to study, to do something in wind energy industry. Another year is important is in 1998, China made its first 600 kilowatt wind turbines and connected to the grid. In Xinjiang, it's by Golden Wind. You know, Wu Gang, also very familiar.
The founder of Goldwind, right?
Yeah, he's vice president of WWEA some years ago. Yeah.
Yes. He was a predecessor indeed,
Yeah, so the 600 kilowatt wind turbine, the components, half of its component was made in China. So I think it's the start of China's wind energy industry from this machine. And in 2003, China held its first wind power concession bidding. Yeah, it's for the bidding is for price. At that time, the wind energy is so expensive. The government think we should reduce the price. How to reduce the price? We use the power concession bidding. I think much like UK some years ago, they use CFD my way to give the developer right to some company. Same series. So this helped a large project and the local production. We started the large wind farm construction work. In 2006, China passed the renewable energy law. It says rules like it's very important. The rules is feed-in tariff, full purchase, and cost sharing. This support wind power for the long term. You know, feed-in tariff is so important for renewable energy. It's so important for wind. We learn from German. Hermann Scheer. I think he founded the feed-in tariff in German.
Yeah. He came also to our World Wind Conference in 2004. I remember. Many meetings around that time.
Yeah, he's my best friend. Yeah, but he's so disappointed that he have leave us. But we learn feed-in tariff is so important. No feed-in tariff rules, no success of wind energy all over the world. In 2009, the government set fixed price in 4 regions. The Jiuquan 10 gigawatt wind base in Gansu province start as the biggest wind farm at the time. One wind farm, one area, we give a plan 10 gigawatt wind farm. Large wind base began in China, in west and north. In 2019, China started greater parity. Wind moved from feed-in tariff to flexible price. The 50 megawatt one wind farm in Yumen, we call that 黑牙子, it's a 50 megawatt wind farm, was the first project for grid parity, no subsidy from that time. In 2020, President Xi Jinping announced China will peak carbon by 2030 and reach carbon neutrality by 26. Wind power is a key energy for this target. So we can fast the wind farm development from that time. In 2021, China led the world in new offshore wind. Total capacity passed the UK. The three culture leading floating wind turbines in Guangdong start. It's the first typhoon-resistant floating turbine in China and the largest in Asia Pacific. In 2025, last year, China announced market-based pricing. From June 1st, all new projects must sell electricity to the market. This brings new challenges and opportunities. So it means the wind is popular. It's not a new energy. It's not energy should need a subsidy. It's go to the market. It can compete with the coal power plant directly. So we enter into a new area. So this is some milestones during last decades. So we have purchased so successful industry in the world.
That is without doubt true, and it's very interesting to also see how China in the 90s was maybe also learning from other countries, and then at the beginning of the century learning from, as you described, the policies, and now China is the leader without doubt. I think the world can see that you can have successful economy with wind energy. That's a very important message. I've just returned from the assembly of the International Renewable Energy Agency, where 170 countries are gathering, and they all look into renewables. And it's very significant that now there is this big example. Of course, other countries are also successful, but just the size and the size of the investment is really impressive. Now, we had just a month ago, we had our World Wind Energy Conference. I've already mentioned that, in the southern Chinese city of Shantou. It was our 22nd World Wind Energy Conference, the third in China, but for me, maybe the most significant one. Maybe how would you say how relevant was the event for China?
I think this conference is so important at this time because I have said we enter into a new area. And international cooperation is so important. So this conference is a new step for China and the global wind cooperation, I think. Over 1,000 people from government, business, and the university from more than 20 countries joined this conference. I think it's because of WWEA, you are often so important, so good conference. It creates a platform for policy, industry, research, and finance to work together. The conference released the Shantou Declaration for International Cooperation and set up the first permanent international dialogue in Shantou for global wind cooperation. I think this depends on your suggestion. Okay, we want the dialogue scheme can continue and get the target as your plan. It all starts the World Wind Energy academy and the China Comprehensive Service Port for global wind industry. I think the academy is it's also come from you. Maybe nearly 10 years or 20 years ago, you started the thinking and want to set up the academy. And I think it will provide a long-term platform for China to join global cooperation, share technology, and have a stronger voice in global rules. The conference also held many international forums to share ideas and building understanding between China and other countries. This helps future technology innovation and industry cooperation. Through this event, China turned its big market and strong manufacturer into global leadership in rules, standards, and industry system. China's role in wind energy is now a solution provider and a coordinator for international cooperation, not just a market player. So we want to use our capability to support other countries to build up the wind energy system to solve the energy safety problem, and like everyone can use the economic and clean electricity from wind. This is our target. Okay.
I think this is exactly the reason why there's such a need that China takes such an important or assumes this role, which, as I personally believe. I mean, we spoke about the history. There was a time when China learned a lot and was very open to hear from others. That I do understand is still the case, but now as there's so much experience, as I said, I've just returned from this International Renewable Energy Agency Assembly, which is the government agency with 170 member states, where, well, there was the bad news that the United States withdrew from their membership, and that was somehow expected. And in the light of this, I could feel that it reflects the situation well, what you've described. It's so important that those who want to go ahead, we just don't go ahead on our own, but we work together. And whoever can contribute, and China as really a key player, can contribute a lot to this development, is so important. And that's why we decided jointly, you mentioned some of the outcomes of the conference that we had. One, and indeed, yeah, I find this personally very important that we set up a dialogue between the industry, as also everybody knows there is some competition and not everybody is happy about that. I feel personally the need to have a cooperation and dialogue, talk to each other about that. Now, do you think there is a gap internationally within the wind industry? Is there a need to have more discussion with each other than just about each other?
Yeah, I think it's important to communication, like our Gentle Declaration. And the declaration came at an important time. And 10 years after the Paris Agreement and after COP30, it's an important agreement for the global wind energy community. Climate action is at a key stage. Wind power is a key source for clean energy transition. It's very important for energy security and climate goals. But there are still problems: weak supply chain, trade barriers, and slow growth in new market. No country or company can solve this alone. So communication and work together is important. So we need stronger international cooperation. The release of the Shantou Declaration comes at the right time. It calls for more global wind power and faster building of supply chain, and it's also set up the first permanent international dialogue for global wind cooperation. This will help Chinese companies join the global wind market, share technology, and serve more countries. It will build a global wind energy system that helps everyone and increase China's influence worldwide. As you mentioned, why we can achieve this success in wind area in China? Because when we start wind energy, we learn from Denmark, from Germany, and the Denmark government provide a lot of support, technology capacity building, and the laws, everything. So now we have achieved our target. Wind energy is so cheap and so clean. Everyone can use wind energy for use their own wind, become their own electricity. So we want to support the world, every country, to share the technology to protect this target. This is our mission, and we can work together to get this target.
Yeah, I think that is very, very important because you look at wind power, of course, it's cheap now, it's accessible everywhere. I mean, practically, maybe beside from a small, like the Vatican in the middle of Rome, aside from that, every country can use wind power. And that it has a potential, of course, not just to serve the benefits, but also when we look at the world nowadays, I think to have a more peaceful world if every country can use these own resources using the technologies. So I do understand, yeah, and I fully support your view. Yes, we let's have more of that dialogue, and you talked about the supply chains as well, so that the technology can be made accessible to as many countries as possible, because it's not a trivial task to have wind turbines, let's say, installed in Central Africa, because there is no factory yet. You must first organize how to bring them and how to. So, how can we make this dialogue better?
Yeah, I think the Shantou dialogue and its permanent system mark a new step for global wind cooperation. It's my understanding. But there are still gaps to fill for the industry to work together. First, we need to turn ideas like a safety supply chain and fair trade into action. Wind power needs global production to stay strong, but countries also want a local manufacturer for energy security. This causes problems. Local rules don't always fit global production, and changing trade rules make investment uncertain. Future Future talks should focus on building platform across the countries, agree on standards and marking fair trade rules. So this we can do that use our dialogue system. Second, most knowledge and the talks are in a few major markets. New markets need more help with technology, training, and funding. There's also no proper platform for project combining wind power with storage, green hydro, or ocean economic. We hope the World Wind Energy Academy and Shantou Dialogue can provide some help. But I think the important is World Wind Energy Association and you, Stephen, should do a lot of work to practice. I think through our work together, through our effort, we will support and build a stronger, fair, and more innovation global energy industry. I think this is our target. This WWEA target. Well, more than 20 years ago, as you founded this organization, founded the World Wind Energy Association, this is your target, I think.
Yes,
So,
yes, yes.
so we should do some work to reach the target. So Shantou Dialogue and the academy, we want can provide the support to reach this target.
Yes. You made, I mean, you touched on many areas, and all of them would require their own podcast. We talk about, for example, supply chains. We talk about integrated systems, for example, battery storage. And there I heard a lot, by the way, at the Arena assembly that now people look at wind farm plus battery or other storage, We had some discussions about this as well at our board meeting, etc. So we will deal with these things. But one thing you mentioned that was also launched during the World Wind Energy Conference was, and let's maybe talk just a little bit about that, the World Wind Energy Academy. There is without doubt, I mean, now after we do agree, obviously, we need more collaboration and really truly global collaboration, which should be amongst all countries who are interested in this. But the Academy now, as you rightly say, we've identified already years ago that there's a kind of gap because you need a lot of knowledgeable people. Now in China, you have a lot of workforce. No? There is also some in Europe, but many countries just starting, they do not have yet the trained staff. And even in the countries like, I'm sure in China, you need more training. Now this World Wind Energy Academy that was launched has the idea in general of providing such training. And I've got very positive response from our colleagues from around the world. They want to be part of it. They would like to have some collaboration. What's kind of your personal idea as this academy? And we visited the building, which will probably inaugurate it in summer this year. What will be the role exactly? What's the task of the academy?
Okay, the academy was created to help solve global wind energy challenges, such as uneven development, weakly supply chain, and many countries in the global south facing limited in technology, industry, and talent. The academy will create an international network and platform with top experts, rules, and industry resources. It will be an academic group and exchange platform. The academy will lead research, technology, and talent training. It will share knowledge. It will share knowledge and help countries in the global south improve their wind energy skills. The goal is to expand wind power, have more people, and involve all countries in global wind energy rules. In the future, the academy will focus on five targets. The first one is training people, especially with the customer program for emerging countries. The second is joint research, creating teams between countries to study theory, technology, and other topics. The third one is supporting supply chain, industry, and infrastructure building. The fourth is working together on technical standards. The last one is running the central dialogue mechanism, holding regular meetings, and making the academy a smooth platform for international cooperation.
Yeah, this I think is a very comprehensive kind of summary. And just for our audience at the moment, these things are also in detailed under preparation. I look very much forward to working with you on that. That is really a very significant initiative. I remember that many years ago there were kind of smaller organizations like the Danish Folkecenter who invited people, but then we talk about several people, dozens. What we now need to achieve is hundreds and thousands of people need to be trained, and that is certainly a very important step towards that. Now, again, coming back from the Arena Assembly, and that's another aspect which we also talked about at the conference. Now, on the one hand, you see that wind power is growing very strongly around the world, but there is also this bad situation that in some countries, wrong information is spread, that wind energy is bad, that just fake news. And I believe that the best answer to this is American president, for example, he's telling lies. For example, he says there's no wind power in China or they're killing birds, whatever. I believe the best response to this is that the people, as many people as possible, feel that wind power is good for them. For example, they have cheap power prices, or maybe they own part of the wind farm and they have some share and get some profit out of that. That is why we had last year a process and set up we call them community engagement guidelines, to give to developers and to investors some tools so how to share benefits that come from wind farms. It's was very interesting for me to hear that there is such legislation in China. We had also Chinese companies being part of this drafting. How relevant do you find this topic of sharing benefits with the people, with the communities?
I think the guideline is so important. Not only, as you mentioned, in America, in other countries, also very important in China. Now, China is the world's biggest wind market with projects on land, offshore, and other types. As wind projects grow, it is important to balance development with community benefits and protecting the environment. Because your gas so large, so before no people care about wind turbine, no people see you. But now it's so popular in China, so it's many people. Oh, it's a wind turbine. It's noise. It's as you mentioned, it will kill birds. So many voices come out. So the guideline is so important. We should balance this voice. We should let everyone can benefit from wind energy. Then we can go on. So one key policy in China, we'll give some example. One key policy in China is the read the wind in thousands of villages and towns initiative. Its target is install wind turbine in rural area to benefit the local people. It's a new way to build wind energy with villages and business working together. Villages get wind power, earn income, and benefit. Villagers can get continuous income from land shares and profit, plus local jobs and training. This links wind energy with the local economic and cultural, help rural areas, and show how the guidance ideas can work in China. So in the future, we have published the guideline. I think we have given some example. Maybe next year, maybe 2 years later, because this program just started in China. We will collect the example to support your guideline. Our experience can benefit all the world. How to develop the farm and how to benefit everyone with wind energy developer.
Yes.
Okay.
I think this is really a key message that we take from there. What we do is not just because we support some industry, but this is because it's good for the people, it's good for the planet, it's good for, at the end of the day, for everyone. Only maybe some companies in the fossil sector, they may lose their business, but that is, of course, there's also some solutions can be found to that. So I thank you very much for this very clear statement, giving us an idea of where the Chinese wind industry stands now. As usual, time is running and we need to kind of limit that. But there are many topics that I believe our audience could also now understand. We will follow up. We will talk and continue. And the Chinese wind sector is really now a key player. A lot we can learn from China, from each other still. So we will continue this dialogue. We will also have another dialogue this year. Qin Haiyan, thank you very much also for all the work that you've been doing. Let me also say that at this occasion, because you've personally contributed so much to this success in China, which at the end is also important. And thank you now for your time.
Okay, it's my pleasure. We keep on touching. Thank you.
Very good. With this, thank you to our audience for listening and goodbye for this time.